Hi, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm glad you're here. Please be sure to subscribe and give me feedback. I'm always looking for feedback on ways that I can be more supportive to protective parents. You guys are navigating the hardest work there is. Navigating parenting a child who has been harmed significantly, it's child abuse, by a coercive controller, aka a narcissistic abuser. Yes, they are abusers. They objectify our children. They do not care about our children. They don't know how to love. I hate to be so black and white, but in this particular case, there are people in the world whose only intention is to exert power and control over others. And they use the children in this way and may show up as the hero parent or the parent who gives the children whatever they want, or they might be more aggressive and the children might feel like they're living with a wolf or a bear, as I say, in the den. So there's a variety of ways they can show up. Bottom line is that your children know very clearly that their love is unconditional, that the children cannot be themselves, that they have to regulate their behavior around this person. What does that do? When we can't be ourselves, this is really important. When we cannot be ourselves, we learn to be ashamed of who we are. We feel a lot of discomfort in being ourselves authentically. That is exactly how this person has behaved their entire life. This abusive person has behaved their entire life. They have hidden themselves. We all call it the mask, right? They are hiding behind a mask because they can't be themselves, because they didn't receive that unconditional love and positive regard that every child needs, or virtually every child. Of course, there's some people who are able to overcome these horrible circumstances and be absolutely fine. Of course, there are. But overall, when a child cannot be themselves, they learn that they are something devalued and something to be ashamed. They are learn to live with shame. And so what's really important for protective parents, I mean, this is like so vital, is to understand that we have to do whatever we can to counteract the shame they're feeling. That is super hard when they are behaving in ways that are pretty horrible, right? That is super hard when they are projecting their pain, which they do, onto us. That is just undeniably one of the hardest things in the world, especially as a trauma victim. You've experienced trauma. Your trauma is because of that abuse you experienced. Now you have a child coming home who's actually exerting that behavior onto you in much the same way. And in that, the pain is significant and it's really hard to regulate. But when we don't regulate, what we do is we show our child that what they're doing, because their goal as a soldier is to line up with this abuser, right? And so sometimes they're exerting power and control over us. That's why we're triggered. They're putting us down, they're diminishing us, they're using, language that sounds all too familiar when you were living with the abuser. Perhaps you're still living with the abuser, right? And so it's just so vital that we begin to counteract the shame that they're projecting. So when they treat us horribly, rather than reprimanding them like we maybe naturally would, like anybody would, especially again, if you're being in some ways abused by your own child, right? That, rather than reprimanding them, we actually exert personal power. So important. We exert personal power, and in that, we are able to say to our children responses that help them. So it's got to be consistent. We got to got to armor up, I say. Armor up. This is not easy. This is not easy. I am not suggesting it is. I hope everyone who's listening or watching has their own trauma trained therapist who understands what you've experienced. What I'm doing is trying to coach you on what to do with your children. Show up in a strong way, in a way that no matter how they're treating you, that it doesn't break you. It certainly hurts, and it's okay to show a little pain, but it doesn't break you. They think that you're broken. That's what they've been told. They've been told that you're weak, or they've seen you be weak because you've been so abused by that other person. And so they have no real respect for you. They don't feel safe with you because they've witnessed you harmed over and over again. They've witnessed you, of course, dysregulated because of the trauma. So what can you do? They come at you. They say something like, I hate you, or I hate this house. Okay, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's all. That's all. Can say it very calmly. I always like to use the acronym VEST 2.1K. We validate with empathy in a soft tone, very soft tone. It's not like loud, it's not aggressive. It's just, okay, I'm sorry you feel that way, honey. And we do that again when they come at us again. So we do it twice, only twice. We do not want to feed that part of their ego, that really compromised part that feels shame. We don't want to add to it. We want to detract from it. Our goal is to create a negative shame in their life, right? And so I'm sorry you feel that way. The second time, you could say the same exact thing. They're going to make fun of you. They're going to say, oh, sure you are. They're going to do whatever they can to poke you. Remember, they're trying to get a reaction. That reaction feeds, in some ways, their unhealthy ego. I like to say the coercive controller has created kindling in our children's stomach. Imagine a fire burning in their little fire. And they're always just adding a little kindling to create this ego compromise in our children, this inability for them to really have agency. Oh, if I can create ego compromise in you, I can oppress you. That's what I can do. So ego is that part of our personality, like, that part that's either, I guess we could say it's either resilient, it's hardy, it can withstand challenging circumstances, or it's not hardy and it's compromised. And so why is it that you might have three children and two align with the abuser, one does not? Well, that one who does not is a little more resilient, okay? How do we add to the resiliency? We don't cause shame. All right. That is like rule number one. Just don't cause shame. So in this, there's that kindling going on in the stomach. That's that like ego compromise. The coercive controller says things like, oh, your mother doesn't love you, or, oh, your grandparents are weird. They never really liked you anyway. Or it says like things that really make your child feel betrayed by you, right? Like, oh, your mother tells everyone your secrets. Or so whatever it is, remember to like diminish the child. In diminishing the child doesn't have agency. In that, the child feels shame for who they are. They can't be authentic. They're living in that space of fear. So every single behavior they have is actually just intense pain, intense pain. If you can look at their awful, outrageous behavior as pain, every time they do it, pain, even though it hurts, pain, then in that, you will be able to respond differently. So I always say we have to practice these responses. Come up with your how does your child trigger you? What do they say to you that really sets you off? And begin to come up with your responses. What are the responses? I actually talked about that in episode 7 of Perfect Prey, which isn't out yet. But this idea of coming up with our list. What is the list of things that, if we could come up with them, the things that maybe they've heard about us, the things that maybe we know they're going to use against us, right? What's the list and how do we respond to it? So if they always say they hate your house, or you live in a shoebox, or you're so dumb, or you stole all the money, or you're the cheater, what's your response to that? Because none of it's true. None of it's true. They're in pain. That's why they're saying it. And what can you say to counteract it so that they don't feel shame from their pain, right? So you can say, honey, it's not true. Yes, it is. You're a liar. You cheated on dad, or whatever, whoever the parent is, right? No, honey, it's not true. That's not true. That's twice. Vest, validate, and with empathy, soft tone. Twice, only twice. Third time they come at you, say, you know what? I'm done talking about this. Oh, sure you are. Look at you running away. You're running away from me. Look at you go. Okay, sweetheart, I'm just actually going out for a walk. Oh, sure you are. Sure you are. I'll see you later. And you disengage. It's the point one with kindness. It's got to be with kindness. It's got to be like a gentle disengagement, a very gentle disengagement. And in that fire kindling in their stomach doesn't get any more kindling from you. And that's the key. No more kindling from you. So I hope that helps, and I hope everybody has a great day. Bye.